And good afternoon and happy new year to everyone. Really excited to have you all here and to talk to you about Matter and our membership opportunities. Just so you know, this conversation will be recorded so that you'll be able to reference it after this session. And please feel free to jump in with any questions as I'm talking. Definitely want this to be a more intimate conversation than anything and want to make sure that you have all the answers that you need. All right, let's get into it. Today, I'll be talking about how Matter helps with healthcare entrepreneurship, getting entrepreneurs with healthcare solutions to market as quickly as possible. And so our mission is to accelerate the pace of change of healthcare. Here at Matter, we are committed to finding and innovative solutions that will advance healthcare in a way that will improve lives. And we believe we do so by collaboration. So collaboration between entrepreneurs and different industry leaders. This, we believe, is the most effective way to enact change, advance care, and to ultimately save lives. And we do this in a unique way. And so our motto, we serve as a community nexus. And as serving as a community nexus, we're this neutral platform where all these different players can come and interact with each other. And so there are two sides of the house, I'd like to say. There's a startup incubation side, and this is where we work one-on-one with startups to provide them the resources that they need to build their business, raise capital, and to eventually gain that traction in the market. And then we have the corporate innovation side. And this is where we work with corporate entities to either internally innovate, so helping their employees get the tools that they need to find or to create innovative solutions within the corporation, or we help those corporations source solutions. And this is where we go back to the startup incubation side to pull startups and solutions from there to meet whatever pain points that they're trying to solve. And so by serving as this neutral platform, we get to bring players from both sides of the house to this one place so that they can talk to each other, they can figure out what is needed within healthcare so that they can provide those solutions. And in the almost 10 years that Matter has been in existence, we have the largest community of healthcare innovators. And so to date, we have worked with over 1,000 startups. We've helped those startups raise over $5 billion in capital. We've partnered with 130 industry leaders within the healthcare field, and we have grown this community to be over 50,000. And this includes entrepreneurs, innovators, decision makers, influencers, and the like. You can see on the right-hand side that we have our startups are made up, or most of our portfolio is digital health. So 65% are digital health solutions, but we do have a smattering of life sciences, services, consumer products, and the like. And for our partners, again, we have a smattering of different types of partners that we work with, whether they be providers, life sciences organizations, foundations, associations, payers, and universities. And we are still doing our end of year wrap up for 2024. But as you can see, most recently in 2023, we have worked with over 300 startups with over 60 corporate partners in 100 cities and in over 20 countries. And so Matter is a Chicago DNA organization, but we are no longer just in Chicago. We are no longer just in this country, right? We are global. We are a global entity, and we are really committed to finding innovative solutions from all over the world to help everyone. And in helping everyone, we have a commitment to equity, and that is not just equity in terms of diversity of the entrepreneurs and the ideas that come our way, but health equity. So finding solutions and helping those solutions grow that will really address, that will be a part of that solution to the health equity inequity problem that we have. And here is just a smattering of all the corporate partners that we work with. So you can see that there are lots of big names that we work with, that we have ongoing partnerships with. And this is just the way that we understand what pain points that the industry is facing and making sure that we find the solutions to match those appropriately. And so as a startup, working with Matter, what do you get, right? How do we work with you in order to build your solution? How do we work with you to grow your business? And so we like to approach these in 3 different ways. And so for the first building your business capability. We give you the tools, the knowledge, and the resources you need to effectively build your business in a way that it is functional. Second, raise capital. We have a network of VC firms that we work with, and just lots of VCs within our network that we partner, that we put you in front of once you are investor ready. We also have programming that gets you investor ready, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. And then finally, gaining traction in the market. So all those corporate partners that we've just talked to, that we work with, they're looking for solutions to the pain points that they're facing every single day. And so again, from the corporate innovation side, reaching into the startup incubation side to source those solutions for them. And so if you are interested in a Matter membership, I will be talking about the Select membership from here on out. That is our most inclusive set of resources. And so to get started on this journey, what you would do is fill out the online application. Once you do that, if we believe that you're a good fit, we'll schedule an interview with you. So where we can get a little more information about what your company is, what you're trying to achieve, and then making sure that we have the appropriate resources to match what your needs are. If everything looks good and everything's a fit, and then we send your application, the venture team sends your application up to leadership, who has the final say in whether you are accepted into the portfolio or not. But if all goes well and you are accepted, we'll onboard you. So complete the paperwork, and then we'll do what is called a discovery session. And so this discovery session is where me and my team we sit down with you and we do a deep dive of your company. So what's your status? Are you an LLC versus a C Corp versus an S Corp, right? Are you fundraising right now? How much money have you raised? How much are you looking to raise? What are you doing with those funds? Right? Traction. Have you gained any traction in the market so far? Partnerships, collaborations, pilots, right? So really digging in to see where your needs are, and then we match the resources that we have at our disposal that are appropriate for those particular needs. And this is tailored for each startup. And then we have a roadmap. And so before you start, you'll fill out what we call an assessment. The innovator roadmap assessment. And this is just it's an evaluation of where your company is, right? So it gives us a better idea of where you might need additional resources. And so we measure you across 6 different metrics. And then once we've analyzed your assessment, it spits out a personalized curriculum for you across all of our resources. So if you are focused on fundraising, as most startups are, right, we'll based on where you are, whether you're maybe you're raising a pre-seed round versus a Series A round, depending on where you are, we'll pull resources that are specific to those needs. And so you'll have that curriculum where you can just walk through all the resources and then continue to build your business. In addition to that, you'll get mentorship and coaching. So one of the ways that we believe we really spur these solutions forward is by mentorship. Having people who have been there, who have done the things that you're trying to do, and then having them work one-on-one with you in order to achieve those solutions, right? And so we pair every member within our Select portfolio with an executive in residence. And so in our discovery session, we'll deep dive with you and understand what your most pressing issue is. So let's say go-to-market strategy, right? And so we'll pair you with an executive in residence that has expertise within the go-to-market strategy. And then that way that person will work with you and literally walk with you down that path of figuring out, okay, what is it that you have to accomplish? And then how are you going to accomplish that? In addition to your executive in residence, you'll also get access to experts within our expert clinic. So these are subject matter experts who have expertise in varying healthcare areas. So whether you are working on clinical trials or regulatory or you need reimbursement help, we have experts in our expert clinic who'll be able to talk to you about these different areas. And so you can think of them as office hours, right? You spend 30 minutes, there's some pre-work that you submit to the expert beforehand so that they can read before your meeting. And then once you get there, your asking all the questions that you need in order to understand the landscape better or to really focus in on your particular needs. You take all that information back to your executive in residence, and then you continue to refine that plan. In addition to that, you get support from Matter, right? So I serve as the account manager for all the select portfolios. And so I'll be with you every step of the way, making sure that you are hitting all the milestones that you said that you laid out, that you would like to achieve in your discovery session, and making sure that you're getting all the appropriate resources at the time that you need them. Talked about fundraising. We have built a robust fundraising program where we have investors who work with our startups one-on-one to get you investor ready so that we can then put you in front of more investors. And so we have two venture acceleration fellows who work with our startups one-on-one to work on their fundraising strategy, their pitch, and their pitch deck. And so in doing this, they make sure that one, you are targeting that what you mean what you say, right? So that you are talking about your solution in a way that is palatable to investors, in a way that makes them understand what it is that you're actually trying to do. And then making sure that you are targeting the appropriate audience for your messaging. And so that they really help with the fundraising strategy, honing in on that. They work on your pitch and pitch deck, again, making sure that your story aligns with the audience that you're choosing to target, making sure that your materials are in order. So if there's a data room that you need cleaned up or need looked at to make sure that you have all the pieces there, we do that as well. And so the way that we do this, there are pitch practices that you have with our venture acceleration fellows. You work on your pitch. We iterate on this process as many times as possible, and then once all of these pieces are in order, we will deem you investor ready. Once you are investor ready, then we'll start putting you in front of the investors that we work with on a preferred basis. And so we work with 24 different VC firms, all the way from early stage pre-seed, all angel, all the way to Series B. And so we work with 24 firms on a preferred basis where we curate suggestions for them on a quarterly basis based on who in our portfolio is investor ready. Not only that, we do have a database of over 230 investors that we do send a quarterly newsletter out to. And so everyone in our portfolio who is actively fundraising, we send them we send newsletters about those companies so that those investors are aware of who is ready for investment. In the course of building your business, we have a wealth of on-demand online resources to pull from. And so let's say you're a first-time entrepreneur and you're really just getting the lay of the land, or maybe you're a serial entrepreneur, but this is your first foray into healthcare. And so we have a digital curriculum that talks about all the things that you would need to know in order to start a healthcare business, right? So whether it's what is the FDA, how do I interact with them, or how do I apply for an SBIR grant, right? All these things we have. Not only modules that'll talk to you about all these different areas, and these areas are listed here. So whether it's fundraising, people and culture, how to build a team, sales, product development, you can watch modules that help you develop your strategy, how to develop your product, how to think about how to curate your team. And in addition to that, we have resources. So we have templates, we have guides, we have outlines that you can use in order to really understand, okay, how am I building this business? Okay, how am I dealing with the finances of this business, right? Again, the building blocks to make sure that your business is functional. You can have a great idea, but you have to have a solid business surrounding that idea in order for it to go far. We also have the professional services directory. So we know that a startup is not a solo endeavor, right? And so you'll have to work with other folks, whether it's a consulting firm, a law firm, what have you, in order to really get those pieces together. And so we've curated a list of over 50 vendors that we know work well with startups as well as price well with startups. And so you know that you can come to the professional services directory and find, let's say, a marketing firm who will work with Matter members. Um, we also, and this is again, on our online portal is where you will find the expert clinic, and that's where you'll be able to book those meetings with subject matter experts. And then finally, you'll be joining an extremely dynamic community of healthcare innovators. So we really are all about community here, right? So again, collaboration is the way that we get work done, period. And so we make sure to build that community. We make sure that we're bringing experts to you so that you know what's going on, what's the latest in healthcare, how do you have to pivot in response to, let's say, a particular policy that has been enacted, right? Things like that. So we have member exclusive opportunities where we bring those as experts. We have private conversations with industry leaders as well as different executives who can talk to you about the issues that are going on today. Not only that, we have the Matter facility, right? So if you are in Chicago, or maybe you're in Chicago for a conference, you want to meet with investors here or in the Midwest, we can be your headquarters away from home. So as a select member, you'll have access to our co-working space. And then finally, our Slack channels. You'll be able to talk to the entire Matter community, both through the general Slack channel that includes everyone within our community, as well as private Slack channels specific for our select members so that entrepreneurs can resource share together and discuss what's going on in their journey of entrepreneurship. And so there are two different tiers of membership. Everything that I just talked about, again, is the select membership. And with that, that's $400 a month. We do not take any equity from any of our startups. We do not have any additional fees. There are no long-term requirements either. This is on a month-to-month contract. So long as you can find our resources useful, we want you in the portfolio. But we want our goal is to help you grow such that you can move on from the resources that we're providing. And so that includes all of the everything that I've just discussed to up to this point. So that includes the mentorship, the online resources, and fundraising support. If you might be really early in your startup journey, right? You might have just gotten here and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is, I'm just trying to get the lay of the land. I need a little something. So you might be a little too early for, let's say, all the hands-on help that you'll get with the select membership. We have what we call a flex membership. It's supposed to be flexible, right? And so this membership is for entrepreneurs who would like to learn how to build their business on their own time, right? This is $30 a month. It includes our online digital curriculum, all of our online resources, which include the digital curriculum, professional services directory, knowledge library, and Expert Clinic Lite. And so our Expert Clinic, we have over 100 experts that are available for our select members, but for Flex, we have 15 that are available on a rolling that gets swapped out every quarter. And everything is first come, first serve. And same rules apply here, no equity, no additional fees, and this is month to month. So I like to think of this as a Netflix subscription, right? You pay for what you get. And the more you use it, excuse me, what I meant to say is this is on your own time, right? On your own pace. And so you are the real driver of um getting your business to the next level with the Flex membership. So again, this is really geared towards folks who might be really early in their entrepreneurship journey, or if this is their first foray into healthcare, so that they can really understand and learn more about what healthcare is and how to build a solid solution within this space. And with that, we hope that you take this information and you do something that matters. I would be more than happy to take any questions now, but thank you all for your attention.
Hi. Oh, sorry, I'm not. All right, sorry, I have a little thingy on my camera. Thank you for that, by the way. I appreciate it. I just have a couple quick questions. Sorry, some of them might seem very, very preliminary. As like my knowledge in this is very minimal, and I'm just kind of figuring it out from here. Um, so I'm located in Chicago, so that select membership is probably kind of where I'd be leaning towards. Um, Am I able to schedule like a tour or something to come visit the facility at some point?
Yeah,
And forgive me, because I think you guys are in the merchandise month, correct?
that is correct.
So is it for people who get that membership, is there some sort of parking validation aspect to downtown?
Okay, yes and yes. So
Okay.
if you would like a
Look,
tour,
parking is really important there. It's
and
it's
I'm
it's kind of
Ooh,
nuts.
like in the heart of the city. And so, so to answer your first question, yes, if you'd like a tour, and maybe not an info session like I've just given, but maybe just like a one-on-one understanding of what your company and seeing if Matter can really help you, or if you're at that stage where Matter can help you, then you'll schedule that with me. So I do
Okay.
typically do I typically do tours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the office. You just shoot me an email and we can schedule that. And then second to your question about parking, we do validate parking. There are two parking.
I'll drop the information into the chat, but it is 210 North Wells, and it's
Okay.
$12 validation for 12-hour usage. So instead of like the $55, because it's a public
Is
parking garage, instead of
okay.
$55 for a couple hours, it'll be $12 for that long. If you arrive after 3 p.m., it is $7.
And is this is Matter like as far as like access, is that 24 hours or is there a certain hour? Like how many hours is the space available?
Yep. So it's as long as the merchandise mart is open. So there's only, I think, 6 holidays, like major holidays, that the mart observes because it's a public building. There's always security around. And as a member, if you either rent out an office with us or a desk, or even just want to use our co-working desks, you will receive a key card, and that gives you 24/7 access into the actual physical Matter office. So you'll just have to go up the elevators because the building should be open with security there. And then you'll have access with the key card.
Okay, and then is that you mentioned like the desk versus like the co-working space. Um, that select membership includes like a small desk or something, or how does that, or is that like an additional um
Yeah.
what's
So the select membership includes access to our co-working space. So the
okay,
desks there are first come, first serve. We have plenty of them, so you can just come sit down wherever. If you would like a dedicated desk or an office, that does come as at an additional cost, and that is something that's separate outside of the membership.
okay, fair enough. And my last question, I promise this is the last one. Um, it's kind of dumb, but it's not like Matter is an incubator, right? What exactly would be the differences between Matter and then some sort of like accelerator program? Because I'm hearing and seeing like a lot of similarities. I mean, there's like, I don't know if it's like curriculum based or timeline based or what it is, but I was hoping maybe you could just touch on that right quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are an incubator with accelerator programs. And so I know that this can get confusing. And so as an incubator, we grow companies, right? And so we have, again, like tools, resources, knowledge that we provide access to so our companies can grow. The difference between an accelerator program, accelerators or a program where they're, sorry, an accelerator, either whether they're a program or an actual an accelerator, there are usually shorter time commitments where you have a structured curriculum that the accelerator walks you through. Usually there's some outcome that is going to be measured, whether it's like a connection to a validation study, a collaboration, will have you. Typically, for the way accelerators work with us, we work with our corporate partners who are looking to source solutions. And so we host these accelerator programs that can be anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. 6 months in some cases, depending on the partner and how that contract is structured. But then we source solutions for them in that accelerator program. So we put a call out for applications, we bring in startups, we walk them through a set curriculum that the partner and Matter have worked out. And it's like the name suggests, it accelerates. So it's really on a short it's a shorter time period that you are really kind of like cranking through all these different resources. If you're gonna be a select member with us, we incubate rather. So it's not so much like rushing to get all these things done or to get that information in order to apply. We're really working with you step by step in order to make sure that each piece of your business is in place.
Okay. Well, I'll let some other people ask questions before I jump back in.
Yeah. Jay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi. Thank you very, very much for your time and sharing what you're about. So we are a direct-to-consumer company. There is some connection, right, to or will be, to others in the healthcare space. Um, have you dealt with companies that are, principally going direct to consumer, and how has that worked out?
Yeah, so there are lots of different examples within our portfolio, past and present, where the companies have started out as direct to consumer, but decided that they would like to pursue something within regulatory so that they could pursue that pathway. We have had companies that were on that regulatory pathway, but it seems that, okay, direct to consumer, there was an opportunity for DTC for them. And so they've taken that, right? So it really just depends on what the solution is and what your goals are. But we do have examples within our companies. Like actually right now, we have someone that we onboarded about 2 weeks ago or a week or so before Christmas, who has been doing direct to consumer, right? But who is now considering a regulatory pathway because there have been outreach from clinics that are interested in their product, but there isn't, they can't make any claims that like this product does one thing or another, right? So now they're considering, okay, maybe we should pursue that regulatory pathway and just understanding what that would entail. So they're working with their executive and residents to figure that out. So yeah,
Right.
there are examples.
That's great. So do you have executives and residents and other people who do office hours who have deep consumer experience?
Yes, we do. So my colleague Caitlin is the one who manages our executives and residents. We have 24 EIRs right now. I can't recall off the top of my head if anyone has specific consumer experience, but we do have Mike, who is our SVP of Venture Acceleration, who would be able to speak on that. If you are, sorry, wow, words. He is available to meet with our startups and he does that type of work. Yeah.
Okay, so if before we put an application in, is it appropriate to just touch base and kind of understand a little bit more about what the potential fit would be?
If that's something that you're comfortable with, absolutely. I do one-on-one calls outside of info
Right.
sessions. And so please feel free to shoot me an email. We
That's
can
great.
set, and that we can talk about like your specific needs and see if Matter is a good fit there.
And your experience about the length of time that people have found it productive to stay in the select program. Help me kind of understand, is this 3 months, 6 months, a year? Um,
Yeah. So on average, our companies stay with us for 2.5 years.
mhm,
You can, like I said, there's no long-term commitment, right? You can, stick around for 3 months, but you're not going to see the benefits of incubation within that time frame,
Right.
or at least not that I have seen, that has worked out for folks who have kind of been on the fence of whether or not they wanted to participate. Um, the longer we work with you, the better things get, right? We have to get to know you first.
Sure.
We do jump right in, but that it does take time to set up meetings, to make sure that we're connecting you with the appropriate corporate partners and the like. And so we find that the longer you stay with us, the more benefit you will receive. But that's not to say that we haven't had people, try the select membership out for a couple of months and then decide that their efforts were better served elsewhere.
Okay, thank you very much for your candor on that. And what is the kind of funding success, rate, that you guys have seen? And I realize it depends on the company and how long you've worked together and so forth, but any general observations that you can share?
Yeah, it really, I will say that it's not up to us. It's really what the market is dictating, right? And so, as much as we would like to force our investors to invest in the startups that we are really passionate about, it really depends on what their thesis is and what the like what's hot in the market, right? And unfortunately, every solution doesn't quite fit that bill, and so it really, I hate to like not give you an answer, but like
Sure.
it really just it does depend. But we do put our best foot forward so to match the investors that have similar thesis to the solutions that our startups have. And then I do personally try to find other opportunities, whether it's grants or different funding types to provide for my startups so that they have options. If, let's say, none of our investors, like if they don't align with what our investors want at that time.
Thank you. Will this be shareable? Did you, I think you recorded this. I want to share this with some of my colleagues.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yes, so you'll receive a follow-up email with the link to this, and so you'll be able
Thank
to forward that on. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Other people I'm sure have questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay.
I have a quick question, just piggybacking off of what Jay was asking. In terms of your investor pool that you have, what type of industries do these investors typically invest in? I know a lot of times investors like to stay with the industries that they are familiar with. And the reason I ask is because, we are a med device company, so it's a regulated industry, and that's not for every investor, right? So just if you could elaborate on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so a lot of our VC firms are interested in digital solutions, right? That is almost a non-answer because digital solutions is a wide category. So we have VC firms who are interested in women's health. We have folks who do invest in med device. We have folks who um, 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 okay, AI is the huge thing, right? But caregiver solutions, like solutions that help caregivers provide better care, is something that a lot of our VCs are interested in at the moment because that was what was hot in the last 3 to 6 months, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So we have 24 that we work with on a preferred basis, and it's my colleague Elle who is in charge of our fundraising program as well as the investor outreach. And so she'll have more information there. But again, we do have so digital solutions as the big blanket, right? But we do have different VC firms who are specialized in particular areas.
Got it. Thank you. It sounds like a digital solutions company startup would have more success than a regulated industry company, pharma or med device company.
I wouldn't say more success. It really, yeah, market conditions plus like how palatable your solution is to the investor at that time is what will really determine what we would call success or not.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, there are a couple of questions in the chat. So one question asking about fellowships or residency programs. So we do not offer any fellowships or residency programs. If you could elaborate a bit more on what you mean, that would be helpful. But if in terms of like scholarships and things, we do not provide explicitly that. I hope that answers your question. Yes, dental and oral health companies are eligible. So yeah, absolutely. So one of the accelerator programs that we do run is with Smile Health. And so this is where we source dental solutions for folks, but we are building our portfolio of dental experts. So for those oral solutions, and so that's something that one of our within our network that we've been beefing up in the last few months, especially with we run that Smile Health Accelerator program every year. So I definitely invite you to check out our website regularly to apply for those accelerator programs. But we are building our dental network, if you will. And so dental companies are eligible.
Shannon, Um, Is there any disadvantage to purely participating virtually as opposed to not being, kind of resident in the Chicago area and, coming in and, face to face is wonderful. But is it possible to have a productive experience, virtually, totally virtually?
Yes, absolutely. And so, like I said, mentioned in the presentation, we're a global entity, right? And so, especially with after the pandemic, seeing how we can stay connected, especially through, in the virtual environment, we've moved a lot of our resources online, right? A lot of the conversations and meetings that we used to have in person here in Chicago, we can now have online. And so you can have a very robust experience in a purely virtual environment. I find that the startups who are the most successful are the ones who respond to my emails, one, but who are actively engaged with Matter, right? So that's when I send you opportunities, you're engaging there, right? Talking to me on a quarterly basis, so I understand. Okay, are you looking for PR opportunities? Are you looking to go to conferences, right? How can I champion you in the places that I go to and the events that I attend, right? So if we're having that communication, that dialogue regularly, if you're meeting with your executive in residence and you're refining that strategy, you're going to office hours with all of our experts and learning as much as you can, right? Those are the startups that we find are more successful. And that's not more successful in like, oh, they've raised all this money, they've done this. They have a better experience in understanding their customers, getting customers, and all the things that you would need to build a better business, right? Because you're engaged with us and are utilizing our resources. I can't tell you how many people I have. It's just like, they're just like, oh, Matter, there's no value here. And I was just like, wow, these last 5 emails I sent, you haven't responded. So I don't know how you can find value if you're not seeking value.
Yeah. And your investor group, 24, or, I'm sure it's much larger than that, but, the group that you're really, they respect you. If you vet somebody and curate them, it's likely to lead to at least a good discussion. Are they principally located in the Midwest or Chicago area, or how does that look?
Yeah, I think mostly are within the Midwest, but again, we do have people from all over the country now, especially from folks who are not stationary themselves, right? And so like people who are also traveling the country all over the place, who dedicate their time to helping our startups, like the folks in our subject, our expert clinic. Yeah, so from all over the country, yes, sorry, my train of thought there.
That's great. And the corporate challenge program, where a company or a hospital, whatever, comes to you and says, we're looking for X solutions. That's separate from the select program, right?
Yes, that
Okay, got it. I've hogged enough of your
Yes.
time.
No, you're all right.
the-
A little bit
you're-
more about those challenges. I know, Keith, you asked about oral health. I dropped the link from last year's cohort page. So every year, this is for all of our challenges, the mission statement changes for the types of solutions that are being sought after from that collaborative partner that we have. So if your startup might have not fully lined up with that mission statement, there's a chance that this year it might. And then with our challenges, you do not have to be a Matter member to apply to them, but typically, not always, but typically, you'll get a Matter membership for a handful of months after the fact if you're participating in that cohort. And then those cohorts, again, vary throughout the year. We run multiple in tandem, so if you ever have a question, let us know. But our membership is, as Shanad said, monthly, so month by month. Select, flex, whichever one you gravitate towards. So that is at your own cadence for those memberships. And then a plug, I realized I never introduced myself. My name is Kenya Skash. I'm part of Matter's events team. So if you are a select member with Matter, you get free usage of our event space in the Chicago office as well. During business hours is a little bit fee if it's after hours for like a reception evening program. But during business hours, we have a handful of our members that use the event space for larger board meetings, if they have like an investor pitch they want to bring in, any other events that you just want to host, whether it's an annual kickoff meeting or anything like that, up to you. But that's just something you'd coordinate with me. Again, free of charge for, I believe it's 2 or 3 days per month that you have with your membership. Any other questions from anyone? I think we exhausted everything.
Okay, well, if there are any questions that do come up after this call, my email is on the screen. Please take it down. Please email me if you have any questions. I'd much rather you have the information than not. So please don't feel like you're bothering me or you think it's a silly question or what have you. Not at all. Please reach out. I want to talk to you. I want to get you the resources that you need. I want these healthcare solutions out to the market so that all of our lives can be great. So let's do this.